Oh, has Peter got a mask on?
Hey, Josh. Hey, Josh. I'm going to put you on the spot to do the introductions. I'm just going to say you're going to make some introductions for everybody. Okay. Okay. All right. Find your seat, please. Recall the order, call meeting to order of the Washington County Board of Supervisors. We'll stand up for a moment of silent prayer, please, with all the divisiveness, division, and hyperpartisanship in our country. Please pray for unity. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. We're all present. We have some of our supervisors that are on Zoom. Is Supervisor Conrath on Zoom? No, not yet. Okay. We have a quorum. I'm going to begin with the affidavit of posting. This is a meeting of the Washington County Board of Supervisors. Prior to this meeting, public notice was given by posting a copy of the agenda in the office of the county clerk and emailing the agenda to the West Bend Daily News, which is the official newspaper. In addition, the agenda was emailed to CNI newspapers, Express News, Kewaskum Statesman, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, WIBD, WNBC Radio, and WTKM Radio. The above action is in conformity with the state of Wisconsin's open meeting law. Before consideration of the consent agenda, we have an announcement by the County Executive Showman and introduction of some new members of our team.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to take the opportunity to introduce two new members of our team. Tara Gundrum is our new executive assistant, project coordinator. Her office is located in the executive suite where Mary Schlitt had been working for the last couple of years. So we thank Mary and we welcome Tara to the new position. And then Ed Eberly. Ed is my new chief of staff. As you all know, Matt is transitioning over to Samaritan Project and helping in an advisory role. And Ed will be taking over the chief of staff responsibilities, and it started 10 days ago. So either of you have anything you'd like to say?
Welcome.
It's very good to be here, and I look forward to meeting and working with all of you out ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Same
Sorry.
here. Thank you for welcoming me to Washington County. I look forward to working with you all.
Can I ask a question?
Chris?
Can they both step out in front so that we who are on Zoom can see them?
Front and center. There you go.
Okay, great. Thank you and welcome.
Okay, one other thing before. Oh, I'm sorry. Gotcha. Supervisor Mahalik.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to officially welcome back Pete Sorcy.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Pete's a lean, mean fighting machine now. He's ready to rock and roll. So. Okay. One other thing before we go, you all know you have a cookie book in front of you. I'm going to read the little note we have here. One of our assisted living residents went to great lengths to acquire these Christmas cookie books for the governance board for Washington County. Please accept these as her gifts and thanks to the hardworking county board members. Thank you. Happy baking from Mary Beth Borick and her team. So, okay. Next up is the consent agenda. I'll accept the motion to accept the consent. Supervisor Mahalik, Supervisor Guzzi. Are there any corrections, deletions, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We had it. Oh, I'm sorry. Supervisor Marquardt.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to ask about the appointments being it's termed indefinite term, and that makes me worry anytime I see that in government. I'm just curious if they serve the pleasure of you, county board chair, or the committee chair, or anything else. If you know,
It's based on the citizen group that we had meet today. We'll be talking more about the CDBG grant and how we're working through that. So that's through that process.
Mary Bell.
That's why it's really showing as an indefinite.
Okay,
So upon completion, that
so it's for a
for a specific
designated
purpose.
purpose.
Yeah, for specific, specific
Thank you.
purpose, yeah. Okay. With that, all in favor, signify by saying aye again. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We move on to personal appearances, letters, and other communications. Sheriff Schulteis, front and center.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Which did I have first on the agenda? The missing person?
You have the missing person investigation first.
Okay. So this, I have two accommodations that I'm giving out today for two separate investigations. The first one was a very complex investigation that crossed over many jurisdictional lines from the village of Jackson to Washington County, and we elicited the help of the Wisconsin Department of Criminal Investigations. So I'd like to invite all the investigators that were involved in that case, if you can come forward. And I'll have you just line up in front of the podium up here. As you can see, this is it took quite a bit of manpower and personnel to accomplish this. So this is a little bit lengthy, but it tells the story of what this case all involves. So just bear with me for a bit. So whereas on July 27, 2020, 30-year-old Stephen Lombard was released from custody and entered an acquaintance's car against his mother's wishes. His mother subsequently reported Stephen missing days later after not having any contact with her son. And whereas the Jackson Police Department initiated a missing person investigation with Officer Gerke assigned as the lead investigator, interviews were conducted with the acquaintance and several inconsistencies were developed revolving around the time frames and locations where the acquaintance allegedly dropped Stephen off. It was also determined that Stephen's bank account had been accessed the night of his disappearance. On August 6, 2020, the Jackson Police Department requested the assistance of the Washington County Office Detective Bureau. Through a collaborative investigation, it was quickly determined that the acquaintance had arrived home 12 hours after he initially told investigators he dropped Stephen off. A blood-covered receipt from Stephen's account was also located inside the acquaintance's vehicle. And whereas investigators immediately began to secure surveillance video from various sources in the city of Milwaukee, some of the videos obtained that same day were able to show that the suspect vehicle was in the city of Milwaukee at various locations, including time frames where the suspect initially said he was at home. One video appeared to show Stephen in medical distress in a gas station parking lot. That same video showed the suspect withdrawing money from the ATM utilizing Stephen's card. And whereas this case required that several search warrants were drafted and executed, a significant amount of cellular and other electronic data was obtained, monitored, and analyzed. This data was scrutinized and compared to other data to obtain a clear picture of what occurred and where Stephen might be. That crucial data led to the development of several people of interest and several geographic areas of interest that needed to be searched. And whereas on several occasions, miles of foot searches were conducted in hot and treacherous conditions, cadaver dogs were brought in to assist in the search in the city of Milwaukee to no avail. Several witnesses and suspect interviews were conducted, and ultimately the suspect was presented with the case facts and evidence. The suspect ultimately confessed to Detectives Franco and Killy. He confessed to using drugs with Stephen until Stephen died in his truck. Rather than seek out medical assistance, the suspect elected to continue to use drugs and withdraw money from the victim's account. The suspect also called the victim's bank to change the PIN on the account. This allowed the suspect to empty out the victim's account while Stephen lay dying in the vehicle. The suspect then drove around the city of Milwaukee with Stephen's lifeless body for 12 hours. Later video was secured that showed this horrific act. The suspect would then dump the body the following day in the Allenton Marsh on his way home. And whereas based on the investigation, the sheriff's office was able to substantiate a felony case of hiding a corpse and felony financial crimes in Washington County. And the suspect is currently being held accountable. He's in custody and being held accountable for his crimes. Whereas Detective James Franco led the Washington County Sheriff's Office investigation, he took ownership of this case and made it a daily priority. He stayed in close contact with the victim's family during this very difficult time and helped ease the pain and stress that the family was going through. His passion, tenacity, coordination, and attention to detail in the investigation were critical to its success. And whereas Detective Kapla assisted in the case with searches, writing search warrants, analyzing data, foot searches, processing crime scenes. Detective Williams assisted in downloading and analyzing cellular data critical to the case, searching, crime scene processing. Detective Kelly assisted with follow-up searches, interviews, scene processing, data analysis. Investigator Glyman conducted searches, follow-up, assisted at the autopsy. Detective Kloppenstein assisted in searches as well as conducting follow-up in Milwaukee. Detective Abbott assisted in obtaining surveillance footage. Investigator Geezy assisted with evidence gathering and processing as well as data analysis. The Washington County Sheriff's Office multi-jurisdictional unit assisted with intelligence gathering and GPS technology. And some staff played large roles than others in this case. However, everyone was involved at some level, and the success of this case can be directly attributed to the cooperation within and outside our agency. And whereas this case also involved multiple law enforcement partners, the Village of Jackson was the original lead investigating agency and brought great value to the case. Officer Gerke was the lead officer and displayed great passion and commitment. Her resolve played a key role in the outcome. And whereas the Department of Criminal Investigation Special Agent Nathan Pesky assisted in the investigation by conducting follow-up searches, interviews with Detective Franco in the city of Milwaukee, he also wrote and obtained an advanced cellular search warrant that played a critical role in the investigation. The substantial cost of this warrant was covered by the Department of Justice, and this is just one example of the outstanding partnership that we have developed with the Department of Criminal Investigations. Whereas this was a comprehensive multi-agency investigation, the Sheriff's Office was actively working on this case every day for 4 weeks. It began as a missing person report and ended with a full confession from the suspect. In between, there were countless hours of speaking to witnesses, gathering and reviewing surveillance videos, searching possible dump sites, writing and serving search warrants, conducting follow-up, and processing evidence. All of this was done in the interest of finding Stephen and giving his family some level of peace and justice. And whereas this case also demonstrates Detective Lieutenant Timothy Kemp's strong leadership qualities while fostering a culture of teamwork both within and outside our agency that truly illustrates the commitment to the citizens of Washington County. And this is further demonstrated by his initiative to author a potential amendment to state statute that closes the loopholes in current immunity laws and duty to aid victims. Our agency is currently working closely with the state legislature to make this important change. I'm going to read some names of everyone. So if you just kind of raise your hand and I call your name just so the board knows who we're talking about. So now therefore be resolved that Detective James Franco, Detective Lieutenant Timothy Kemps, Detective Tom Abbott, Detective David Kloppenstein, Detective Chris Gilley, Detective Don Kapla, Detective Jesse Williams, Investigator Brandon Giese, Investigator Ashley Gleman, Detective Mark Setti, Detective Peter Rank, Jackson Police Officer Jennifer Gerke, and DCI Special Agent Nathan Pesky. They are hereby commended for their professionalism, compassion, and commitment to preserving human dignity in the pursuit of justice. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for a job well done. Too often, these missing persons where a drug overdose happens, the family is left with nothing other than the death of a family member. You guys and gals did an awesome job putting this together. I can't even imagine the amount of hours we put into it. I've done the job myself for years and retired now. And I know how difficult it is to put a case like this together. So thank you very much.
The next one I have is much shorter. This is also kind of a missing person investigation. Yeah. If I could have the Deputy Oslos and Deputy Seibel come up.
Take pictures with the seat back there. I'll get out of the way. So I'm not-
So this is a commendation of Deputy Cody Seibel to on my left, or to far left rather, and Deputy Cody Oslos. Whereas the Washington County Emergency Communications Center received a 911 call on Friday, November 27th at 6:34 p.m., reporting a motor vehicle accident on Highway 2 in the town of Erin. And whereas bystanders reported the driver of the vehicle fled the scene on foot into a wooded area, and also reported it appeared that the operator of the vehicle may have been under the influence of alcohol. And whereas substantial law enforcement resources were dedicated for the search, including two tracking canines that lost track about 1 mile from the crash scene. Nearly 3 hours after the initial call, Deputy Cody Oslos was walking back to his squad and heard a faint male voice yelling for help. Based upon the distress in the man's voice, Deputy Cody Seibel and Deputy Cody Oslos decided to enter the swamp to attempt a rescue. And whereas Deputy Cody Seibel and Deputy Cody Oslos entered the marsh area wearing only their duty uniform and traversed muddy swamp terrain with standing water ranging from ankle to chest deep. External temperatures were in the mid-20s during the rescue operations. Both deputies spent 1 hour and 43 minutes in the water while coordinating rescue efforts with the Hartford Fire Department. Whereas deputies were extracted and transported by EMS for possible exposure, at 1:50 a.m., the individual was finally extracted from the marsh utilizing substantial public safety resources. And whereas the outcome of this case was likely fatal, if not for their persistent and unwavering effort combined with the deputies' willingness to risk both injury and hypothermia. Now, therefore, be resolved that Deputy Cody Seibel and Deputy Cody Oslos are hereby commended for their selfless and fearless demeanor while upholding our agency's mission statement to protect life while serving the citizens of Washington County with professionalism, dedication, and compassion. So, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Job well done, gentlemen. Every time I read something that you guys have done, every time I see it, I know how blessed I am to live in the county where we have the best law enforcement agency in the land. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.
And thank you, Board.
Consideration and upon request, reading of resolutions and ordinances. One goes first. You wanna go by- Okay. Resolution 2020, resolution 38, combination of Bob Donlinger, entertain a motion. Supervisor Hartwig, Supervisor Schleif. Sure. Is he here? Come on up.
Whereas Bob Donlinger has contributed 23 years of loyal service to the citizens of Washington County, and whereas Bob Donlinger has chosen to retire from his present position of laborer, operator, patrol person in the Highway Department, now therefore be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Supervisors pause in its deliberations to pay tribute and to commend Bob Donlinger for his 23 years of meritorious service. Be it further resolved that on behalf of all citizens of Washington County, this body does herewith extend to him heartfelt thanks for his many accomplishments and successes. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Bob Donlinger as a token of appreciation on the part of this board.
A few things I think snowstorm. I left in a snowstorm. It was when Brett Favre won the Super Bowl, and I was thrown right out on the freeway, and we had 11-inch snowstorm. There was more traffic going north. So, but back then, all kinds of changed up from Mound to Local. plowing, and all of a sudden, the one supervisor in West Bend called me. When are you coming in? I do. After 7. Yeah. Great bunch of guys that I worked with.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Twenty 20 Resolution 39, commendation of Keith Ellenbecker. Entertain a motion. Supervisor Smisek. Super. Yep. Joel, Supervisor Joel, I can't think of your name. Sorry. Go ahead.
Whereas Keith Ellenbecker has contributed 23 years of loyal service to the citizens of Washington County, and whereas Keith Ellenbecker has chosen to retire from his present position of laborer, operator, patrol person in the Highway Department, now therefore be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Supervisors pause in its deliberations to pay tribute and to commend Keith Ellenbecker for his 23 years of meritorious service. Be it further resolved that on behalf of all citizens of Washington County, this body does herewith extend to him heartfelt thanks for his many accomplishments and successes. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Keith Ellenbecker as a token of appreciation on the part of this board.
He's not here, so we'll stand with Okay, 2020 Resolution 40, commendation of Christine Groth.
Raising my hand.
Supervisor Gallant, Supervisor Hartwig. Huh?
Whereas Christine Groth has contributed 30 years of loyal service to the citizens of Washington County, and whereas Christine Groth has chosen to retire from her present position of Administrative Assistant 2 in the Register of Deeds office, now therefore be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Supervisors pause in its deliberations to pay tribute and to commend Christine Groth for her 30 years of meritorious service. Be it further resolved that on behalf of all citizens of Washington County, this body does herewith extend to her heartfelt thanks for her many accomplishments and successes. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Christine Groth as a token of appreciation on the part of this board.
You want to do them all? Okay. 2020 Resolution 41, commendation of Bruce Krieger. Supervisor Newman.
Whereas Bruce Krieger has contributed 30 years of loyal service to the citizens of Washington County, and whereas Bruce Krieger has chosen to retire from his present position of Highway Superintendent in the Highway Department, now therefore be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Supervisors pause in its deliberations to pay tribute and to commend Bruce Krieger for his 30 years of meritorious service. Be it further resolved that on behalf of all citizens of Washington County, this body does herewith extend to him heartfelt thanks for his many accomplishments and successes. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Bruce Krieger as a token of appreciation on the part of this board.
'20 Resolution 42, commendation of Jane Merton. Supervisor Mahalik, Supervisor Kelling.
Whereas Jane Merton has contributed more than 15 years of loyal service to the citizens of Washington County, and whereas Jane Merton has chosen to retire from her present position of County Treasurer, Now therefore be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Supervisors pause in its deliberations to pay tribute and to commend Jane Merton for her 15 years of meritorious service. Be it further resolved that on behalf of all citizens of Washington County, this body does herewith extend to her heartfelt thanks for her many accomplishments and successes. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Jane Merton as a token of appreciation on the part of this board. It's also important to note that Jane Merton was given a $250 gift card to Landscapes in accordance with the county's policy for retirement, just so you all are aware.
Okay, very good. 2020 Resolution 43, commendation of Thomas Schmidt. Supervisor Hartwig. Supervisor Bossert.
Whereas Thomas Schmidt has contributed 27 years of loyal service to the citizens of Washington County, and whereas Thomas Schmidt has chosen to retire from his present position of Highway Superintendent in the Highway Department, now therefore be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Supervisors pause in its deliberations to pay tribute and to commend Thomas Schmidt for his 27 years of meritorious service. Be it further resolved that on behalf of all citizens of Washington County, this body does herewith extend to him heartfelt thanks for his many accomplishments and successes. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Thomas Schmidt as a token of appreciation on the part of this board.
Okay, 2020 Resolution 44, authorize a biennial budget process for Washington County. Okay, motion Supervisor Mary, Supervisor Krebs. Are there any questions regarding this? Something's been in the works for, oh, sorry. Look at that computer screen. Supervisor Markwart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of questions that I had were, are there any issues with the fact that essentially the 2-year budget that we have will be offset about a half year from the state budget? I assume that's actually sort of a good thing for us, but just wanted to put it out there. And then secondly, thinking about the input that newly elected supervisors will have and how that works into the scheduling of the 2-year budget. Thank you.
I'll have County Executive Showman respond to that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Supervisor Marco, for the questions. You answered the first one. You're right. It is actually a benefit. The state budget will get approved in theory by June 30th of this year, which is right as our budget process is starting, which obviously, as you all know, will be approved then in November. So the overlap, the timing works perfectly. To answer your question as regard to county board supervisors, we were very intentional actually when we lobbied for this bill, and Washington County was the principal in lobbying for this. We asked that it coincide with the state budget process, especially in part because of what you just described. The election of new county board supervisors will be in April following the budget. So they'll have a full year to orient themselves to the county, to our processes and the existing budget before they're forced into having to make decisions about the next budget. So it actually provides for an opportunity for everybody to kind of get their feet wet before they're looking at their first budget. Whereas, as you all know now, you get in April, you've got 6 months and you're looking at budget, actually less than that, you have 3 months and you're looking at budgets for the first time, knowing very little. So the hope is this actually gives us more time to get everybody oriented and up to speed, as we had talked about last time this came around.
Okay, good. Any other questions? We'll vote on this electronically.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, this is Pam.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hi, I joined you all at 6:10. I've been waiting to be officially added to the meeting. Mary was busy taking pictures.
Yes, we can hear you. You're in the meeting, Pam.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have a voting screen though. Blanked it. I'll just. Okay, I'll just have to vote out loud. I'm fine with that. Okay, we'll vote electronically on this, and I'll be voting without the electronic because mine is dead. So everybody press present and then. I'm a yes. I'm a yes. So. Hmm? Okay. Chris, are you going to vote? Supervisor Ice?
I did.
Okay, waiting for it to come in. I'll try again.
Oh, I'm sending that to my sister. Sorry. I don't think she cares how I vote.
Sure she does.
Okay. All right, motion passes unanimously. Even though the next three are all kind of intertwined, we'll begin with 2020 Resolution 45, authorize the submission of a county development block grant CDB application, public facilities CBDG-PF, planning CDBG PLNG. Okay, entertain a motion. Supervisor Mahalik, Supervisor Mary. Are there questions on this? Supervisor Mahalik, let me get you here.
Thank you very much,
Supervisor
Mr. Chairman. Of course, we just dealt with this at executive. I'm sure everybody here has done their part in making sure they read through this. These three, you really are in a position where you can't pass one without the other, based on the fact that if we're going to move forward with this, we have to have a citizen participation plan as part of what is required. And on the third one, of course, the guaranteeing Washington County provide additional funds, there has to be $50,000, set aside for this. We understood that at executive, and we took these all as a group because of the fact that they are intertwined to the point where if you're going to vote for H, you pretty much have to vote for I and J in order for it to work. And if they have a rather extensive information that is part of the packet, and of course this has been available online, so all of the public has seen it. You have all had access to it. So I just want to make sure that and would ask the chair if it would be okay to look at all of these three at once, rather than go through the laborious process of going to them individually. Seeing all of this information is available, and you can't, it's the classic. You can't do one without the other, type of thing.
Yeah, I realize
Thank
that,
you very
but
much. Thank you.
according to yeah, I think we can do one presentation. We could vote on them consecutively, but we need to, based on parliamentary rules.
Okay, that's fine. That's
But
fine.
we can do the discussion of all three at the same time.
Right. Okay.
So if there's I'm part, and so is Supervisor Dice, of the citizen group that met today at 1:00. After much discussion and explanation, it was unanimous to move forward. Executive met prior to this meeting. A lot of you were here while we had that meeting.
Right.
And that was unanimous to bring it to the board. It's something we've been discussing over a period of years. County Executive Shulman gave a presentation about 2 years ago, what this is about. This is money that we need to have come back to us. We actually sent the check out to the state sends it back to us, and we have to have projects, and the projects are worthy. The projects, I think, fit the bill, and I'm supportive of it all the way through. So is there any other discussion on Resolution 45? Hearing none, we'll vote on this. Oh, I got some. Okay. Sorry, Brian. Supervisor Galt, sorry.
Thank you, Chair. While I don't have any issues with any of this, I was just curious, what was the criteria to select these particular items? So there was a stack ranking, I'm sure, of need. Was that based upon the citizen input of need for those specific facilities, for example? Is there actually use of them that put them up at a higher level versus other facilities? Just curious what criteria was used.
County Executive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Supervisor. The quick answer is ADA projects floated to the top as the most efficient way to administer this particular grant program. As I explained to the Executive Committee and the Citizen Committee, it's a very laborious federal program with lots of red tape and strings attached. So these are the quickest and easiest types of projects, which we had planned on doing at some point anyway. So then it became, as you know, they're all ADA related. So then it became, what are the highest priority ADA projects? And we just put them in order. And that's what got vetted. That's what the chairman was talking about. That's what got vetted at the Citizen Committee. This particular room that you're sitting in, you'll notice it's about a $500,000 project. It rose to the top because of the democratic nature of the room. And then from there, it's a matter of, as you can see in your packet, bathrooms and the old courthouse, which won't be our property in a couple of years. So that's kind of how it worked out. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. I mean, to your comment about the courthouse, this brought to my attention because it's just, anyways, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Supervisor Krebs.
These projects are completed, there's not going to be any reoccurring or additional CDBG funds coming in, correct?
Yeah, that program has been.
So once these projects are completed, is the citizen participation group going to continue on in a different capacity, or will that committee basically be done once these projects are complete?
Do you want to answer that?
Yeah.
This goes back to Supervisor Markworth's question at consent agenda. Once this project is done, the committee's done.
Okay, so the committee is specifically for
Oh,
these one-time funds.
That's correct.
Okay,
Right.
just
Yeah,
wanted everyone to be aware of
we're
that.
likely to meet again in September when we can, look at what the progress is, what the actual costs are costing. So
And forgive me, I don't know if it was in the pack or not, but was there any timeline to these projects?
they need to be done by November of
2 years.
2,
Isn't it 2 years?
22. Yeah, November 22.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We haven't done, okay. Hearing no more questions, we'll vote on this electronically for resolution 45. Motion passes unanimously. 2020 Resolution 46 authorize the adoption of a citizen participation plan in conjunction with the Community Development Block Grant. I'll entertain a motion. Supervisor Bossert, Supervisor Guzzi. Any further discussion on that? If we're ready, we'll vote electronically. Motion passes unanimously. 2020 Resolution 47. Yeah, there's an amended resolution on your desk with the amount that we need to guarantee. That's 5% of the project, which is $50,000. 2020 Resolution 47, resolution guaranteeing Washington County provide additional funds relating to Community Development Block Grant CDBG programs. Entertain a motion. Motion from Supervisor Schleif, second by Supervisor Gauss. Any further discussion on that matter? Hearing none, we'll vote on it electronically. Unanimous again. Motion passes. Our next meeting date, Wednesday, February 10th, 2021 at 6:00 PM. Conducted all our business. We are hereby adjourned.
Oh, excuse me. Shoot, this is Pam. I had my hand raised.
Oh, sorry, Pam. We'll take this back. We're back in session. Go ahead,
Okay.
Pam. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to clarify these block grants. Where did this money initially originate? Josh Shulman stated we essentially sent the money to the state and the state gave it back to us. But I just want to double check and for have on the record too for this meeting where the money initially originated so people understand.
Well, Pam, since the meeting has been adjourned and I can't unadjourn it apparently.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Can
we
you
can talk offline. And I'll give you all the information on that. But basically, it was money that was in our custody. In order to use it, we had to send it back to the state. Then we get reimbursed. So
yeah. And this was budgeted money?
no. Okay, we're hereby adjourned. Thank you, everybody.